Hi and welcome to the Martin Bell Show. Hopefully you've been keeping well, and in the video today we're going to be reading through the Daily Mail online, and it's going to be about 2.5 million British jobs at risk of being lost as the future of 900,000 small businesses hangs in the balance, new research warns. So hopefully everyone does manage to keep their job, and businesses owners manage to keep their businesses going, and then eventually they'll be able to re-establish themselves and then build a strong foundation, and they don't lose their businesses and people keep their jobs, because it's a horrible thing to go through. Very fortunately, I've never lost my job and I'm still currently at work at the moment. I'm very grateful for that. Very grateful, and I really do appreciate that. So I really do feel still sincere for people who are struggling or may have lost their jobs or seeking new work. So it's saying here, over 900,000 small businesses are at risk of shutting up shop for good amid a fresh wave of job losses threatening to sweep across Britain, according to new research. And this is why it's very important to help people if you can. It doesn't always have to be financial, it could be emotional, psychological support, or just helping them out, or if they're struggling to understand and you understand it. Just, it's very important to help people out, and help people out in this, especially this time of need, and giving them time and emotional and psychological support, because it's a very grim time that we're in, and I think it's very important to look after the people, and with more people hopefully, and they are, which is a good thing to see. So the grim findings suggest 2.5 million jobs up and down the country are at risk of being lost in the coming months. A marked increase in bankruptcies among British businesses looms as government support programs like the furlough scheme end. The Centre of Economics Performance and the Alliance for Employment warned. Well, I think they will have to extend the furlough scheme personally, because they can't cut the furlough scheme and then make it not able to go to work if you are wanting to go to work or able to go to work. They're going to have to continue on in some form or measure, or some way have to pay the bills for you, because that, I don't think that's fair for you not to get paid and you want to go to work, because not everyone has large cash savings to pay off the bills, and they may not even want to use their cash savings to pay off the bills. They may want to use their earned income to pay the bills and invest or set money aside. I don't think it's fair for people to wanting to work are not allowed to work, but then there's no support for them. That doesn't seem very fair to me. So around 1 in 7 or 15% of the UK based firms are at risk of imminent collapse as enforced temporary closures and lockdown restrictions persist. That's quite worrying. I really do hope everything does turn out to be okay in the end. The report authors Professor John Van Reen and Peter Lambert said the bleak scenario that you predict could be elevated by imaginative and swift government intervention. Without further policy action, businesses face a cruel spring of bankruptcy, Professor Van Reen said. Mr. Lambert added the current policy trajectory must be altered in order to provide protection now and to map a path for post-pandemic prosperity. Well, we're not over the woods yet. The pandemic is still going on, and the numbers are still high, unfortunately, at the moment, so we do have to protect people. It's very hard. Very hard. So former Prime Minister Gordon Brown, who launched the AFFE last year, urged the government to use the report as a basis for creating an urgently needed long-term business recovery program, the centrepiece of Chancellor Rishi Sunak's budget in March. If Sunak were to follow the report advice, he would be able to prevent the liquidity crisis of 2020 becoming the solvency crisis in 21, Mr. Brown said. He added, governments cannot afford to be behind the curve, especially in a crisis. Government cannot afford to be behind the curve, especially in a crisis, former Gordon Brown said. They have to beat at least 2 steps ahead, but today the fate of the thousands of small businesses hangs in the balance. Millions face an uncertain future after March when the furlough is to end. Youth unemployment is already at record levels. All concerns that forward-looking government should be dealing with today. For all is well can focus on help through loans and the finances of furlough. The government has said little and done little, and that offers struggling businesses the prospect of long-term survival. If we're to save good small businesses that innovate and forward looking to, but which, without help with their investment plans, are in danger of going under, the budget must bring forward measures. And I'm thinking the budget it's in March or April, I can't remember exactly, that's terrible, isn't it? I have to look it up. But I will be trying to watch it, but I may be at work, so I maybe have to read through the papers afterwards to see what they're saying they're going to do. So it is time to offer new hope to what will otherwise be dying firms. Calling for immediate action, the report author said we can call for immediate extensions of the loan support schemes to address the urgent need for protection. And I'm thinking that they probably will have to extend the protections, as personally I don't think it's fair for people them saying you cannot legally work, and then we're going to cut the support off, which means not everyone has savings or dip into their savings or investments to get them through completely all this thing, and maybe they don't even want to dip into their savings if they do have savings. And also to the people who do not have any savings, who are more living paycheck to paycheck, this is going to be a much more stressful time for them, and I don't think it's really fair. I do think they should be supported personally, as they're not legally allowed to work. So calling for immediate action, the report author has said we call for immediate extensions of loan support schemes to address the urgent need for protection. We suggest that these could continue well in recovery. We also outline a more coherent set of policies for debt restructuring, including debt equity swaps. This will provide some flexibility for a longer-term relocation to support post-pandemic prosperity. In December, Sunak extended the furlough scheme to the end of April, meaning the government or taxpayers continues to pay 80% of wages of affected workers. So these other people who are working getting 80%, they have still got to find to the other 20%, or they have to lower their standard of living or cut back in other areas of 20%. This week, new figures from the Office for National Statistics revealed that the British unemployment rate hit 5% for the first time in more than 4 years in the 3 months to November. The ONS also said 828,000 fewer people were on the company payrolls through December compared to the pre-COVID crisis of February 2020. Nye Community senior economist at the Resolution Foundation think tank said, while the labour market continued to deteriorate, the furlough had held back the tide of joblessness. I think people will want to get back to work eventually. There may be a few stragglers thinking I don't ever want to go back to work, but sadly there's always been some people like that, of that mindset. But I think most people are realising now that I really do need to get back to work. So the entertainment, hospitality, leisure and retail sector have been particularly hit hard by the pandemic, within many bricks and mortar based businesses struggling amid continued shutdowns. By contrast, online based companies like Boohoo and OSOS have been seeing sales and profits surged over the period. But I think once this virus gets better, I think people will go out more and things will eventually get back to normal. And one of these people talking about the Great Reset, I'm going to make a video about that, because I don't know where this concept of this Great Reset is. It's going on for ages. It's been going on since like since I knew about it. It's like, when was it? 2011 they was talking about it, and they keep harking back to the days of 1971, like when the gold standard ended. I do not think we'll go back to a gold standard now, because I don't think it's going to be possible. I haven't done much research into it, as that means they're going to have to completely re-evaluate the price of gold, and most people don't own precious metals, and if it was to be like to a 1-to-1 dollar to gold ratio, gold would be very, very expensive, and also it constrains governments and they can't grow as much what they need to in certain areas, as the gold puts restrictions on it, and then they would have to dig up more from the ground and do more damage to the environment. But there does need to be some kind of balance. Can't just be careful with too much borrowing, because that can lead to dangerous things. I'm not fully aware of how much that would be, but we need to be just aware of that. So anyway, I'm sidetracking. Hopefully you found this video useful, and as I said, please give the people who are struggling some support. It doesn't have to be financially, it could be your time of day, give them a phone call, or emotional, psychological support, or if you're a bit more financially minded and they want a little bit of advice. And obviously you're not a financial advisor, so I can't legally give financial advice. You can give people advice on ways of saving money or cutting back, or ways to look after the pennies a bit more. So if you've enjoyed this content and you want to see more, then please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, smashing the like button, and clicking the bell notification button gets you notified when I next release a video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon.